So, if you have already started reading some questions of task 2, you must have noticed that there are different types of questions, right? Not just the different topics, but sometimes they are asking for advantage and disadvantage. Sometimes they are asking, do you agree or disagree? Maybe sometimes you must have come across a question which says, discuss both these views and then give your opinion. Oh my God. And sometimes they may ask you for some solutions to some given problem or maybe reasons behind some problem. If you have already started reading the questions, at least, forget about reading some sample answers. But if you have gone through some different types of questions for task 2, you must have definitely come across this variety of types. Now, before we look at the different types of questions, let me show you that each essay, each question, not just essay, each question that you will get for task 2, okay, it will have 3 statements. Which are these 3 statements? Let's quickly have a look. So, your task 2 of the IELTS writing module will always comprise of these 3 statements. The first statement would be a topic statement. Second would give you the question, okay, we'll call it a question statement. And third is your task statement, something that is telling you that this is your task, okay. Now, these terms, topic statement, question statement, task statement, these terms, I would say let's try to use these terms for our better understanding, okay. This is something that I would like to use for you to understand things better, alright. So, we'll always talk about 3 statements. Topic statement, I'm not talking about a sentence, okay, a topic statement, a question statement and a task statement, alright. This is just for our understanding, cool. Now, let's look at different types of essays that you may come across in your exam. Well, of course, you will only get one of these types. So, there's number 1, opinion essay. Number 2, discussion essay. Then there is third one, which is problem, reason and solution essay. The fourth one is advantage and disadvantage essay. There's something called mixed or direct question essay. Oh, okay. There are these 5 different types of essays. All right. Relax. We'll look at one at a time in detail, okay. So, first let's look at opinion essay. Now, here what do we see? There is a topic statement, there is a question statement and then there is a task statement also. On your screen, you can also see that there are some 3 different pointers mentioned on the right hand side, but let's ignore them for now. Let's understand these 3 statements first. Yes? Now, instead of reading the topic statement and the question statement, let's directly read the task statement. What is a task statement? A task statement is something that is asking you to do some task, okay. So, what is the task statement saying over here? It says, give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Plus, it also mentions write at least 250 words. So, there are 3 things that the task statement is asking for. Number 1, give reasons for your answer. Number 2, include any relevant examples. You're supposed to include examples out of your own knowledge or experience. And number 3, you have to write at least 250 words. Okay. Now, we are yet to read the topic statement as well as the question statement. Let's just forget about that for now. Let's say I ask you, okay, I am giving you a task. Dude, you have to do this task. What is the task? Okay, the task is to give reasons for your answer and give examples also to support it. Go, do the task, go. Give reasons for your answer. Now you'll be like, okay, I'll give reasons for my answer, but what am I supposed to answer to? Right? What is the question? You see, how a task statement is linked to the question statement. Now if you ask me, okay, I'll give reasons for my response, for my answer, but tell me what is the question? All right. Oh yes, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you the question. The question is, do you agree or disagree? Okay. Now, I have told you the question. The question is, do you agree or disagree? You may agree, you may disagree. It's your choice because I'm asking you, do you agree or disagree? So, it's up to you. You may agree or disagree. So, tell me, come on, tell me, do you agree or disagree? And whatever you do, if you agree, give reasons for that. If you disagree, give reasons for that. Simple. Your task is simple. It's related to your question. And I have told you the question. The question is, do you agree or disagree? Simple. Now you'll be like, okay, if I have to agree or disagree with something, tell me what it is, right? What it is with which I have to agree or disagree. So now your question statement is based or is rather dependent on the topic statement. So you see how task statement, your reasoning and your examples will depend on what the question is, and your answer to this question will depend on the topic statement. Okay. So in this case, what is the topic statement? Let's just quickly have a look. It says, some people say that in all levels of education, from primary school to university, too much time is spent on learning facts and not enough on learning practical skills. Now to this, do you agree or disagree? Let's just say you agree. If you agree, you have to give reasons for your agreement. Now, if you say I disagree, all right, give reasons behind your disagreement. Simple as it is. Okay. So you understand the logic of topic statement, question statement, and then a task statement. These three statements rather will always be there in all the types of essays and also in your exam, whichever type of essay you get in your exam. So why do we call this as an opinion essay? Because when we look at the question statement, it's asking for your opinion. It's clearly asking for your opinion. You see, it says, do you agree or disagree? It's clearly asking for your opinion. Okay? That's why it is called an opinion essay. This much is clear? Okay. Now, let's come to these 3 points which I have written on the right hand side. Number 1, type of essay. Which type of essay is this? Well, we have been dealing with this in detail and it is explicitly mentioned. It's an opinion essay. This much is clear. Okay. Number 2, it's asking for parts to be addressed. How many parts are there which you're supposed to address in this essay? Now, there are, see, whenever it comes to identifying how many parts you're supposed to address, you should consider 2 statements. Number 1, topic statement, and number 2, question statement. Okay. So, in this case, what are the parts that you're supposed to address? Number 1, see, it says, some people say that in all levels of education. So, I have to make sure that when I am answering, I have to talk about all levels of education. Number 1. Number 2, it says too much time is spent on learning facts. Okay. Plus, it says and. Again, an important word. Okay. And is an important word here. So, too much time is spent on learning facts. This is something that I have to talk about in my essay, in my response. And I must also talk about not enough on learning practical skills. So, this should also be part of my answer. While saying I agree or I disagree with this opinion, I should talk about it as a whole. I shouldn't just speak about, yes, too much time is spent on learning facts and only about this. I should also bring my attention to not enough time being spent on practical skills. And again, very importantly, I cannot forget in all levels of education. For example, if this is your essay and if you end up talking about only primary schools and not all levels of education, then are you addressing all the parts of the essay? No, you're not. Now the next question that you may think of is, why is it important to address all the parts of the essay? Wait, this we will discuss in the next lesson when we are dealing with the band descriptors, that too of task response, responding to the task fully. Okay, we'll come to that. However, for now, do you understand how it is important to identify? Addressing them is different. How should I put them in my answer? In which paragraph should I put what? All that we'll discuss later. Relax. Right now, what I want you to do is whenever you come across any given essay, task 2, let's just call it task 2, any given task 2, there should be 3 things that should come to your mind while reading the question itself. Number 1, which type of essay is this? Number 2, how many parts are there in this essay? Okay, while reading itself, you should be able to underline, okay, this is another part, this is also something that I have to cover in my essay. How to cover is what we will deal with later. Relax. First, identify what all you are supposed to cover. Then, third question that you must think about while reading the question of task 2 itself is the opinion asked? Look at this. Is opinion asked? What do you think? Is the opinion asked? Yes, it's explicitly asked. Do you agree or disagree? So, 3 things. Number 1, type of essay. How do we identify that? By looking at the question statement. Parts to be addressed. How do we identify that? By looking at the topic statement and the question statement. Right? So, why is question statement important? To identify the parts that you're supposed to address. So, once you identify, okay, all levels of education, spending time only on learning facts, not enough time on learning practical skills. Now, I also have to decide if I agree or I disagree with what has been stated. Right? So, this also has to be considered. Very important. Yes. Third question is the opinion asked? For this, again, you will look at the question statement itself. When you look at this statement, it says, do you agree or disagree? Explicitly asking for your opinion. This much is clear. Now, let's move on to the next type of essay, which is discussion essay. Now, here also we can go in reverse order. We can read the task statement, then the question statement, and then the topic statement. But I guess you have understood the logic behind that. So, we can actually read it from top to bottom. Okay. So, let's read the topic statement first. It says, some people think that the news channels and media nowadays have sensationalized and influenced people's lives in negative ways. Others disagree and say that it is also positive. So, what do I see? I see that there are 2 opinions. Some people, then there are others, right? Some people think something, others think something. Alright, let's see what is the question statement saying. The question statement says, discuss both these views. Of course, there are 2 views, right? In the topic statement itself, there are 2 views of some people and other people. So, discuss both these views and give your own opinion. Wow. Then the task statement says, give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Write at least 250 words. What do I see? Task statement is exactly and absolutely same as it was for opinion essay. Okay, let's hold that thought. We'll look at other types of essays and then we'll see is it same for them as well. For now, Okay, task statement is common where I'm supposed to give reasons and examples and I'm supposed to write minimum 250 words. All right, cool. So reasons for your answer. For your answer means what? What is going to be my answer? My answer in this case would be to discuss both the views and at the end give my opinion also. Which two views? Which are there in the topic statement. Yes. So discussion essay is something where you will always and always have to discuss two views which would be there in the topic statement, and at the same time you have to give your opinion as well, in the sense with which view you agree. Okay, so there are two views, view 1, view 2. You have to give reasons behind why people think like this and then why people think like what they do in view 2. Okay, and then you have to say your opinion, like you agree with this type of people or this type of people, or let's say this some set of people or this some set of people. So at the end you have to give your opinion as well. All right, now let's come to those 3 points which we have to keep in mind while reading any essay, any essay question rather. So first thing first, type of essay. What do we look at when we have to identify the type of essay? The question statement. The question statement is saying discuss both these views and give your own opinion. That means this is a discussion essay. Also because it's very explicitly written on the screen. Not just because of that, but the question statement also. Number 2, parts to be addressed. What do we look at when we have to think about different parts which we are supposed to address? So we are now at this stage, we are just identifying the parts. Okay. So what all should I read to identify the parts to be addressed? 2 statements, topic statement and question statement. So when we read this, we see that there are 3 things that you have to do. View 1, view 2 and opinion. So you have to give reasons for view 1, you have to give reasons for view 2, and then you have to support one of these sides, like say that yes, this is your view, like, or maybe you belong to this set of people. In this case, for example, your opinion is view 2. So you have to say that, right? You go with people who believe in view 2. So these 3 things are compulsorily to be done for this particular essay, right? The ideas are getting clearer? All right. Third question is the opinion asked? Well, yes, the opinion is asked. Of course, you have to do some discussion, but then you have to give your opinion as well. Again, it's very explicitly mentioned in the question statement itself, give your own opinion. So yes, it is asked. All right, now let's move on to the third type of essay, which is problem, reason and solution essay. Okay, once again, we can go in reverse order, but I guess the logic is clear, so let's continue from top to bottom. So when I read the topic statement, I see it says, in spite of the advances made in agriculture, many people around the world still go hungry. Okay, till now, we were reading questions where it mentioned some people think like this or some people believe this, others believe this. But what do I see in this case? It says, in spite of the advances made in agriculture, many people around the world still go hungry. This is not some people think or some people believe. This is not somebody's opinion. In fact, to me, this sounds like a problem. Don't you think so? So, more often than not, your topic statement for problem, reasons and solutions essays would be a problem. Okay? Again, not always, but very often. Now, let's look at the question statement. It says, why is this the case? And number 2, there are 2 questions. Okay, wow. What can be done about this problem? Wow. Why is this the case? Why is this the case? Why is this problem there? Means it's asking for reasons. Next, it says, what can be done about this problem? What can be done about this problem? Means it's asking for solutions. Interesting, no? So, when we look at the question statement, what is it telling you? It is telling you the type of essay. Which type of essay is this? This is problem, reason and solution essay. Why is this? Because it's written on the top? No, because the question statement is asking for reasons and solutions and the topic statement is explicitly stating a problem. Okay, idea is getting clearer? Cool. Let's move on to the task statement now. So, this task statement says, give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience and write at least 250 words. Again the same. What do I notice here is that task statement is common for opinion essays, for discussion essays and also for problem, reasons and solution essays. Is it going to be the same for advantage, disadvantage and mixed category type of essays? Feels like, because so far it's the same. So it feels like it's going to be same for other two types as well. We'll come to it when we reach there. For now, what are we supposed to do? We have to find or rather identify how many parts are there which you are supposed to address. For which we will consider topic statement as well as the question statement. So how many parts are there which you are supposed to address? So there is a problem, okay. So we have a problem, all right, and we are also supposed to talk about reasons and also the solutions for this problem. So in short, there is a problem, then there are reasons which you have to find or rather respond, in fact give reasons, then you have to give some solutions also. Now, what is the task statement asking? Task statement is asking for give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples plus write 250 words. Okay. Now, if you are already giving reason for a problem, how will you give reasons for reasons? Well, when we say give reasons for your answer means basically explain that. For example, when you say, let's talk about opinion essay, when you say I agree with this. So when I say okay, give reason, so what will you do? You will then explain it further, right? You will say I agree because. Now in a way you are giving reason over here, or you can simply explain the logic behind why you agree with it. Similarly, when you give a reason behind a particular problem which is there in the topic statement, you have to rather explain it more in order to give reasons. Why are you supposed to give reasons? Because that's your task. Remember this. So, are you understanding the logic? What all should be part of your essay? Alright, you can't simply state the reason number 1, reason number 2, reason number 3, solution number 1, solution number 2, solution number 3, done. You have to explain them, expand them, elaborate them. Why? Why? Because that's the task, dude. You have to do that. Okay? You don't have to really give 3 reasons. You can give 2 reasons and explain them instead of making your answers lengthier. Oh, I guess this is something that will come to it later when we are talking about each type of essay individually in the following lessons. For now, let's move on to the third point that we have to keep in mind while reading the question, which is the opinion asked? Now, for this again we have to go to the question statement, correct? Look at the question statement and tell me, is your opinion asked? It is asking for reasons, yes. It is asking for solutions, yes. And you can give reasons and solutions of whatever you think is a reason or a solution, right? Definitely that would be based on your thoughts. But is your opinion asked? Are they saying, do you agree that yes, in spite of the advances made in agriculture, people around the world are still going hungry? Is it asking your opinion anywhere? No. So the opinion is not asked. Alright? What have we noticed so far? That till now there are some essays where the opinion is asked, and this is one particular where we saw that the opinion is not asked. Let's see the remaining 2 types as well, and we'll see if the opinion is asked there or not. Okay? Let's move on to the 4th type of essay, which is advantage and disadvantage essay. Once again, let's read from the beginning. The topic statement says, there is an increasing trend around the world to have a small family rather than a large family. Okay, it is an increasing trend. All right. Then the question statement says, what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of having a small family rather than a large family? Okay. So, what do I see over here? I see that there is a topic statement which is talking about some trend, maybe. Yeah, okay. And then my question statement is asking for what are some of the advantages and disadvantages. That's it. It's not, is it, let's quickly think about this. Is it asking for my opinion that yes, this is an increasing trend or not? What do I think about it? Is it asking my opinion? No, absolutely not. The opinion is not asked. It's clearly asking for what are some of the advantages and disadvantages. That's it. Now, let's look at the task statement also quickly. It says, give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience and write at least 250 words. Okay, once again, the task statement is same. So, kind of, I'm about to conclude that task statement is going to be common for all the types of essays. Well, we can go to the fifth type and then maybe we can conclude it. For now, let's move on to the type of essay. The first thing that you have to think about when you read any question, type of essay. This is advantage, disadvantage essay. Why? Why is this advantage, disadvantage? Because it's written over here on the heading. No, because your question statement is saying what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of this trend, whichever trend it is. So, to identify the type of essay, we are looking at the question statement, correct? Now, to identify the parts to be addressed, very clearly I have to state some advantages, also some disadvantages. Very clearly it's written what are some of the advantages and disadvantages. At the same time, I have to keep in mind that it is asking for advantages, plural, disadvantages, plural. So, minimum 2 advantages should be there in my entire essay and minimum 2 disadvantages should be there in the entire essay, correct? Plus, look at the topic statement. When I see, it says around the world. Around the world. Okay, wow, that means it's not being very specific to a particular country or a region. It is talking about around the world. Alright. So, what do I have to keep in mind? That I have to consider the entire globe when I am talking about advantages and disadvantages of this particular trend. And what is the trend? Look at this. There is an increasing trend around the world to have a small family rather than a large family. To have a small family rather than a large family. So, I have to talk about advantages of small family. I have to talk about disadvantages of small family. Now, many students, what they end up doing is, instead of talking about, let's say they start talking about advantages of small family. Okay, great, good. Now, instead of talking about disadvantages of small family, they end up talking about advantages of large family. Now, is it same? Well, you may argue that disadvantages of small family are in a way advantages of large family. You may argue that. But then, what is asked? Are they asking you for advantages of large family? No. They are asking you for disadvantages of small family. So, please address that. Right? Your points can be same, but your language would be different. You have to put them in a different manner. Am I making sense? Yes. Okay. Great. Oh, okay. So, now let's move on to the last type, which is mixed or direct question essay. Alright, now let me give you a quick shout out. Yep, it's my promo time. So, the lessons that you're watching right now, these are just a small part of my full course called IELTS Ultimate All-in-One Course, and honestly, it's everything you will ever need to prepare for the test. This course covers all 4 modules in full detail. Everything is explained in step-by-step manner from basics to advanced, wherein I also explain you how to do self-evaluations so that you're not dependent on anyone to see your improvement. So this course is basically a complete package which includes a lot of study material, more than 50 mock tests for self-practice, and many grammar lessons made specifically for the IELTS exam. Whether you have got just 1 week or let's say you have more than 3 months to prepare, we will plan it accordingly. So basically what happens is when you join the full course, I will talk to you personally on a Zoom call to help you build a customized study plan based on your requirement. And then I stay in touch with you through WhatsApp or email for daily follow-ups, reminders, and also to clear your doubts whenever you have any. This way, you are never preparing alone. My students always say this one-on-one support and clarity is what helped them to finally hit their target score. And you can check out the reviews on my Google page too. The link is in the description. Oh, and since you're watching this on YouTube, there's a special discount just for you. Go to the description, click on the course link, and while registering, use coupon code TYOFFER and get a super discount. My website, WhatsApp details, contact details, everything is there in the description. Message me if you have any questions. Alright, back to the lesson now. Now, to understand what it means, let's first quickly read the 3 statements. So the topic statement says, nowadays, many people have access to computers on a wide basis and a large number of children play computer games. Okay, nowadays many people have access to computers and on a wide basis and a large number of children play computer games. Alright, what is my question statement saying? It says, what are the negative and positive impacts of playing computer games? Who is playing computer games in the topic statement? Children, large number of children rather. Now we have to talk about what? We have to talk about the negative impacts and the positive impacts. And it says what are the negative impacts and the positive impacts of playing computer games? Is it ringing a bell? Is it sounding like one of the essays that we have already seen? Think about it. Well, yes, it's sounding very much like advantage and disadvantage. Basically positives and negatives of something, right? In this case, a large number of students playing computer games. So positive and negative impacts of playing computer games. So advantages and disadvantages of playing computer games, right? But is the question over there? No, there's something more written to it. Let's see. It says, and what can be done to minimize the bad effect? What can be done to minimize the bad effect? Now, once again, don't you think this is asking for some solutions to reduce the bad effects or negative impacts? So, once again, what do we see? Here it is a mix of advantages and disadvantages essay and problem, reason and solution essay. Wherein from problem, reason and solution, it's only asking for solutions, and advantage, disadvantage, both like positive and negative impacts, right? So, is it now making sense? What is a mixed essay? A mixed essay would basically be a mixture of 2 out of the 4 already discussed essays. Which are those? They are opinion essay, discussion essay, problem, reasons and solutions essay, and number 4, advantage and disadvantage essay. So, a mix of any of these would come as a mixed essay. Yes, you have to do a little extra work over here, but then you understand what is a mixed essay. Right now, we are not talking about how to respond to them, Right now we are just trying to understand or develop some understanding of what are the types of essays. We have not yet seen the subtypes, by the way. We'll come to that gradually and eventually. But do you understand the fifth type also? Clear? Now, let's look at the task statement also quickly. So, the task statement says, give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Write at least 250 words. So, all right, this much is now very much considered that task statement will always and always be common. It is going to be the same. Okay. Let's move on to the 3 points that we have to keep in mind. Number 1, type of essay. How do we identify that? By looking at the question statement. The question statement is clearly a mix of 2 types of essays. So, I would say this is a mixed essay. Number 2, parts to be addressed. Well, I have to make sure that I talk about the negative impacts, the positive impacts, as well as some solutions of what? Of playing computer games. On whom? The negative and positive impacts on whom? On a large number of children. At the same time, I must not forget that I have to mention a bit at least about the first half of the topic statement in my essay. What is the first half of the topic statement? It's nowadays many people have access to computers on a wide basis. This should be a small part of my essay. Maybe in the introduction, and that would be enough. Okay. Now, quickly, the last point that we have to keep in mind, which is opinion asked? Once again, for this, we have to look at the question statement. Look at it and tell me, is it asking for your opinion? Is it or is it not? Well, it's asking for what are the negative impacts, what are the positive impacts, plus it's asking for what can be done to minimize the bad effect, means the solutions. But is it asking you for your opinion, that do you agree that this is happening, or do you disagree with this, or do you think this is good, do you think this is bad, do you think people should have access to computers, is it good to have children playing games? No opinion is being asked, right? Is the opinion asked? No, not at all. Clear? All right, so here we finish understanding of how many types of essays are there which you have to deal with to get ready for the IELTS writing module task 2. Now, as I told you that there are some subtypes as well. Yes. So, what I would do now is I would present some questions on the screen and we'll try to keep these 3 points in mind. Which 3 points? Number 1, type of essay. Number 2, how many parts are there to be addressed? And number 3 is the opinion asked. Okay. So, let's try doing that, and with the help of that, we'll see what are the subtypes of these essays. Having said that, just a quick understanding, not all the types of essays have subtypes. Many have, but not all. All right. So, let's quickly do this exercise. Okay. So, the first question here on your screen is, let's look at this. Now, obviously, nobody is going to tell you that this is your topic statement, this is your question statement, and this is your task statement. In your exam, it would be simply written as it is. It won't be given, okay, this is your topic statement, this is your task statement, or a question statement. You have to identify. All right. So, let's read the topic statement quickly. Every year, large number of people migrate from one country to another for different reasons. Now, before I move on to the next topic, next statement rather, what do I see? It says every year large number of people migrate from one country to another for different reasons. Is it talking about somebody's opinion? No. So, let's see. Is it talking about somebody else's opinion? No. But is it asking my opinion also or not? For that, I have to read the question statement. Let's do that. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of migration for the individual and for the society as a whole. Okay. So, is my opinion asked? First thing, is my opinion asked? No, it's asking me to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. So, the opinion asked is no. First question, type of essay. How do we identify? By looking at the topic, question statement. It says discuss the advantages and disadvantages. Clearly the type is advantage and disadvantage essay. Cool. Next, how many parts are there? So, number 1, I have to talk about advantages. Number 2, I have to talk about disadvantages also. Of what? Of migration for an individual and for the society as a whole. So, I have to make sure that there should be one advantage for an individual, one for society. One disadvantage for an individual of migration, correct? And one for society as well. Understood? So, these are the parts which I have addressed, which I have to address, which I have identified rather. Okay. So, done with all 3 questions? Cool. Alright, let's move on to the next question, next sample rather. So, it says, news stories on TV and in newspapers are very often accompanied by pictures. Oh yes, they are. Some people say that these pictures are more effective than words. Some people say that these pictures are more effective than words. Alright. What is your opinion about it? Wow, clearly asking for opinion, and it's also stating which type of essay is this. This is opinion essay. Yeah, type of essay, opinion essay. Is the opinion asked? Yes, absolutely asked. Now, how many parts are there to be addressed? So, let's identify the parts. It says, what is your opinion about it? So, you can simply say, well, I think yes, this is true, or you can say, no, I don't think that's true. I think I disagree with these people, with this some set of people. Some people say that these pictures are more effective than words. No, I think words are more important. Or you can say, well, yes, these pictures are very important because they give more meaning to words. Words are blank, like they don't give the entire meaning. They don't give a clear understanding or picturization of what has happened. Okay, maybe I am diversing. So, coming back to the topic, what are the parts to be addressed? I have to identify if I agree or if I disagree. Right? With what? With pictures are more effective than words or not. So, this is my part that I have to make sure that I address. Are pictures more effective than words? Okay. And where are these presented? On news stories on TV and in newspapers. Both should be there. See, it says and. You see how important it is? Okay. So, these are the parts. Cool. Clear? Well, task statement is going to be common. This we have understood very clearly. We don't really need to go to the task statement again and again. Let's move on to the third sample. It says, increasing the price of petrol is the best way, wow, is the best way to solve the growing traffic and pollution problems. So, there are 2 things that will be solved by the best way, which is increasing the price of petrol. And what are these 2 problems which would be solved? These are growing traffic and pollution. Okay. Now, the question statement is, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Number 1. Number 2, what other measures do you think might be effective? Now, it's asking for your opinion. Number 1, do you agree or disagree? And number 2, it's asking for what other measures do you think might be effective? What other measures might be effective? Well, there are different methods. This probably is not the best way, right? You have to then talk about different methods. Now, is it asking for some solution to some problem? Or is it asking for some reasons to some problem? Look at it. No, it's not. So, I do see that it is kind of a mixed essay, but it's not a mixture of the 2 out of the 4 that we discussed. There is one opinion essay, yes, but this next question, what are other measures? What other measures do you think that might be effective? Now, this is not asking for some solutions, but this is a question which is a very direct question. Talk about other methods. which might be effective. I mean, it's not necessarily that they have to be effective, they might be. Okay, so this is a very direct question to you. So now direct question again cannot necessarily be alone. It can be accompanied with one of the 4 types, right? And in that case also it becomes direct question or mixed essay. So type of essay, we'll say it's a mixture. It's a mixed essay which is coming with a direct question also. Understanding? How to address this is something that will come to it later. For now, relax and understand. Number 2, parts to be addressed. I have to make sure that I say I agree or I disagree. Now in this case, it is asking for your opinion. Do you agree or you disagree? Right? For example, you say, yeah, I absolutely agree. This is the best way. This is the best way. I agree. Yes. Then, when you talk about other measures, would you be able to justify it equally well that, yeah, they might be effective? Well, it depends. And the answer to this question is yes, you will be still able to justify if you fully agree. But then it depends, it needs a lot of clear understanding in writing. So a safe side over here is to normally disagree that this is not the best way. This is one of the ways, but this is not the best way. There are other ways which might be more effective, in which you will be in a way answering to the direct question. Okay. Once again, don't worry about the structuring of the paragraphs. We'll come to that later, what type of language to be used and all. Everything will deal in detail. For now, just understand that which type of essay is this. This is a mixed essay. Parts to be addressed. We could identify the parts also. Is the opinion asked? Yes, at least for partial essay, I have to give my opinion. When it is asked, to what extent do you agree, disagree? Now, let's move on to the 4th sample. Okay, so here we have more and more students are choosing to study at colleges and universities in a foreign country. Do the benefits of studying abroad outweigh the drawbacks? Alright, wow, give reasons, this is common, alright. Now I want you to tell me type of essay. Is it asking for your opinion? See, it says, do the benefits of so and so outweigh so and so, outweigh the drawbacks rather. Okay. So do the benefits of something outweigh the drawbacks? Is it asking you for your opinion? Yes, it is asking. So do you think if the opinion is asked, it's an opinion essay? But you see, it says benefits, drawbacks. These are synonyms for advantage, disadvantage, right? So would it be an advantage, disadvantage essay or opinion essay? Think about it. Think about it and tell me, is it advantage, disadvantage or opinion essay? Well, whenever the question is, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, or let's say, do the benefits outweigh the drawbacks? Now, it's asking you for one thing outweighing the other, one thing overpowering the other, right? So if you say, let's say for example, yes, this overpowers the other. For that, when you're talking about overpowering or overweighing, you are weighing, right? Correct? So in that case, you have to talk about both. Okay? So you have to talk about benefits as well as the drawbacks. Because you're weighing, no? One weighs more, one weighs less. Yes, that is what it's your right to give your opinion, because it's asked, do the benefits of something outweigh the drawbacks? And you can very much say yes they do or no they don't. So you are giving your opinion, but at the same time you're talking about both, because you're weighing. This is more, this is less. You can't simply talk about yes, 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 advantage, 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 finish. You have to talk about disadvantages also. And then you have to weigh. Alright. So, whenever the question is, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? This is clearly an advantage-disadvantage essay, but it is a subtype. So, Now what do we see in advantage and disadvantage? One is one very direct advantage disadvantage question where no opinion is asked. What are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? But then there is this another type where they are asking for, are advantages more than disadvantages, or maybe vice versa. So this is another type of advantage disadvantage essay. Idea is getting clearer? Cool. Now next is parts to be addressed. How many parts are there? Simple, not very difficult. More and more students are choosing to study at colleges and universities in a foreign country, and we have to talk about advantages and disadvantages of what? Of students studying in foreign country, right? And then I have to make sure that I give my opinion. The advantages are more. For example, I say, yes, the benefits are more. So I have to make sure that I give my opinion also. So that's why you see it is important to consider the topic statement as well as the question statement while identifying the paths. Alright. Third question is the opinion asked? Well, yes, it is. Cool. Now, let's move on to the fifth sample. Let's be a little fast now. It says, topic statement is, in recent years, many small local shops have closed because customers travel to large shopping centers or malls to do their shopping. Alright. So, this is something that is happening in recent years. Alright. So, is this a positive or a negative development? Now, once again, is the opinion asked? Is this a positive? So, it's a question being asked to you. So, definitely the opinion is asked. You can say, yes, it is a positive development, or you can say, no, it's a negative development. So, yes, the opinion is asked. Clear. But now, once again, the opinion is asked. So, is it an opinion essay or is it advantage disadvantage essay? Once again, you see the words are synonyms to advantage disadvantage, those which are there in the question. It says, is this a positive development or a negative development? Positive, negative. Again, synonyms for advantage, disadvantage. So now, my question to you is this advantage, disadvantage essay or is this opinion essay? What do you think? It's synonym to advantages and disadvantages. So, yeah, no, it's not. It's not advantage and disadvantage essay. This is opinion essay. Okay, it's not asking you about one outweighing the other. In this case, you don't have to weigh both the things. You can totally support one side saying absolutely negative. I totally feel that this is negative. Or you can say, no, it's absolutely positive. See, 1, 2, 3, these are all positives. In your entire essay, you're only talking about positives or only negatives. Because that's your opinion. So, this essay is opinion essay. Many candidates, I know, many candidates are confused between when it comes to this type of essay. Is it advantage, disadvantage or is it opinion? Now understand this. This is opinion essay. After this, please don't be confused between these two. Clear? Now, let's move on to the next sample essay. Okay, quickly it says, nowadays families are not as close as in the past and a lot of people have become used to this. Explain the reasons for this and discuss any possible effects it may have on society. So once again, reasons are asked and possible effects. Is it asking for solutions? Is it asking for solutions? No, it's asking for the effect it may have. Now, reasons basically causes, right? So, you are asked for causes and effects. The effect it may have means some problems. Now, if the problem is asked in the question statement, what is the topic statement? Look at it. Is it sounding like a problem? See, families are not as close as in the past and a lot of people have become used to it. Is it a problem? Is it sounding like a problem at all? Well, this is something happening, but it is not a problem. So, the statement is plain simple statement which you might have to consider as a fact. And to this fact, you have to talk about reasons as well as problems, not solutions. Now tell me, which type of essay is this? Type of essay. Well, this is a variant of problem, reasons and solutions, wherein sometimes what we have seen is your topic statement will be a problem and your question statement will ask for reasons plus solutions. But in this case, what do we see? Your topic statement is a fact, a simple fact, and your question statement is asking for number 1 reasons and number 2 problems. Simple. So this is again a variant of problem, reasons and solutions essays. In this type of essay, there are multiple variants. So one is where a problem is given and you have to then give reasons and solutions to it. Sometimes you will just be asked for only reasons. Like, this is a problem, what is the reason behind it? Sometimes you may just be asked for solutions, like this is a problem, what can be the solutions? And sometimes they may give you a statement which doesn't sound like a problem, okay, but still the question statement will include reasons, problems, sometimes solutions as well. So what are the reasons behind this? For example, something like this, or let's take another example where let's say students in many developed countries do not behave properly in school. This is, let's consider this as fact. Okay. Now the question statement says what could be the reason behind this. So you have to find the reason why students are not behaving properly. Number 2, it may also ask you what could be the effect of this, like what can it lead to, the problems, right? Then third thing, it may also ask you for solutions, or it may ask you simply for reasons and problems, or problems and solutions, or just reasons and solutions, anything. All these types would be all in all encompassed under problem, reasons and solutions essay. Clear? Cool. Let's move on to the next sample question, which is, governments should spend money on railways rather than roads. Okay, the question statement is, to what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? Well, once again, this is opinion essay. To what extent do you agree or disagree, or do you agree or disagree? More or less the same. Okay, to what extent, maybe you would want to answer this question as till some extent. Now, should we answer questions as till some extent, and when should we do that? All this we'll discuss later. For now, let's understand the type of essay. So whenever the question is to what extent do you agree or disagree, this question is always categorized under opinion essay. Once again, we can say that different types of question, framing of question, we can say, do you agree or disagree, or to what extent do you agree or disagree? Clear? So, what have we seen? We have seen that there are 5 types of essays, and many of these types have subtypes as well, right? Let's just quickly have a look to these subtypes in a summarized format. So, first type is discussion essay. We don't have any subtype for that. In fact, discussion essay is pretty much simple, where the question statement also is always the same, not just the task statement. So the question statement always will be discuss both these views and give your own opinion. All right, cool. Let's move on to the next essay type, which is opinion essay. Here we have seen that it may ask you for a normal agree, disagree, right? Which can also be as the question can be framed differently as to what extent do you agree, disagree. But then we have also seen that there is something called the best way essay. This is the best way to do something, right? So, okay, well, hold on. This is a category of opinion essay and we will be discussing about it a lot in detail. Just understand that there is something called the best way essay. We came across one of the essays in the list, and that is something that comes under opinion essay. Alright. Next, problem, reasons and solutions essay. Well, there are multiple variants for that. We can be asked for problems and reasons and solutions. We can be asked for just reasons and solutions, or just problems and solutions, or just problems and reasons, or only problem, only reasons, or only solutions. Okay, lots of types, right? Lots of subtypes rather. Well, not very difficult, I must say. Next, advantage and disadvantage essay. Here we saw that one classic way, what are the advantages and disadvantages? But then we also have something like one outweighing the other. Remember, one advantages outweigh the disadvantages, correct? We can also have, rarely though, we can be asked only for advantages and or only for disadvantages, which again would be kind of advantage disadvantage essays. Okay, last, which is mixed essay, wherein it's kind of the first category that we have seen is a kind of disguised form of one of the four types. Out of the four types, they may mix two, they may disguise it as something else, like what do you think can be possible ways of making it better. So it's asking for solutions basically. So which is a disguised form of problem, reasons and solutions. Okay, one is a disguised format. Okay, another subtype of mixed essay would be direct questions. So direct questions can be asked. What are the other measures that can be taken to reduce pollution problems, or you see, direct question. All right. Oh, all right. So we have completed the understanding of different types of essays as well as their subtypes. Cool. Now understand that all these types or subtypes also should be addressed differently. They all would need a different strategy, different approach, in fact different language to be used inside the essay, different way of structuring the essay, right? And this is what we are going to deal a lot in detail individually for each type and subtype of the essays in the following lessons. All right. So have patience, and let's now move on to the next part of this lesson, where we are going to deal with the general structure of any IELTS essay. All right. I see you there. Bye-bye.